The year was 1942. America was fully engulfed in World War II. Soldiers were fighting overseas, industries were shifting to war production, and even the US Mint had to adapt. You see, nickel was a critical metal for weapons, armor, and machinery, and that meant the government faced a decision. Should they keep using nickel for coinage, or divert it all to the war effort? By mid-1942, the Mint decided to change the composition of the 5-cent coin. That's when the famous silver wartime nickels were born, made of 35% silver, 56% copper, and 9% manganese. But here's where the twist comes in. Before the switch happened, the Denver Mint struck one last run of Jefferson nickels in the traditional 75% copper and 25% nickel composition. That coin is the 1942 D Jefferson Nickel, the very last Denver nickel of the pre-war alloy. On the surface, it looks ordinary. Just another nickel with Jefferson on the front and Monticello on the back. But in reality, it marks the end of an era. And for collectors, that makes it extremely desirable. Now let's talk about rarity. The Denver Mint produced a little over 13.9 million of these coins. Compared to modern mintage numbers, that doesn't sound too small. But here's the catch. Most of those coins entered circulation during the war. People didn't save them. They were used, worn down, spent in grocery stores, laundromats, and soda machines. And that's why finding one today in high grade, especially with strong details, is a serious challenge. A circulated example, worn and average, might only be worth $1 to $5, but that's just the starting point. If you're lucky enough to find one uncirculated, things get much more interesting. In MS63, you're looking at around $50 to $75. A gem MS65 can bring $200 to $400. Push higher to MS66, and prices soar into the $600 to $200 range. But here's where the collectors get crazy. Full steps. On the back of the coin, Monticello has a set of steps. Most 1942 D nickels were poorly struck with weak or mushy steps, but if you find one with crisp, unbroken steps, the value skyrockets. In MS67 with full steps, the coin has sold for jaw-dropping amounts. We're talking $32,200 at auction. Another specimen, with incredible luster and perfect steps, hit nearly $47,500, and experts say that if a true MS68 full steps were ever discovered, it could easily smash records, potentially $125,000 or more for a single nickel. Imagine that, a 5-cent coin worth more than a luxury sports car. But let me give you the human side of this. Picture a collector sitting in an auction room. The bidding starts at a few thousand. The numbers climb quickly. 10,000, 20,000, 30,000. Every heartbeat feels like a hammer strike. And finally, the hammer drops. $47,500. For a coin that most people wouldn't even notice in their pocket. That's the magic of rarity and competition. Now here's where things get suspenseful. Could you have one of these sitting in a jar at home? The answer is yes. These coins still surface in estate sales, inherited collections, old jars and coin rolls. Some lucky hunters even find them in bulk nickel lots. The odds are slim, but they're out there, and the thrill of the hunt is what keeps collectors searching. If you do find one, here's my advice. Don't clean it. Cleaning destroys value instantly. Even a light rub with a cloth can turn a $10,000 coin into a $10 coin. Instead, handle it carefully by the edges and send it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. Certification is the key that unlocks its market potential. Once graded, your selling strategy matters. Common grades can go on eBay or at your local coin shop. But if you're holding an MS66 or higher, especially with full steps, you need to think big. The best move is a major auction house. Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, where wealthy registry collectors will battle it out for your coin. But let's step back a moment and talk about why the Jefferson Nickel series is so fascinating. When it debuted in 1938, the design was modern, sleek, and patriotic. Jefferson on the front, his Monticello home on the back. It symbolized stability in an uncertain time. But coins like the 1942 D remind us that history leaves its fingerprints even on small pieces of metal. The alloy change, the minting quirks, the scarcity of strong strikes. It all tells a story that's bigger than just pocket change. And here's one more layer to the story. Transitional year varieties. 1942 was the year of the switch. That means some nickels exist in both traditional copper nickel and wartime silver compositions, creating a crossover effect. Collectors love these transitional issues because they highlight that moment of change. The 1942 D is the Denver piece of that puzzle. So let's recap. The 1942 D Jefferson Nickel. Last Denver issue before the wartime silver alloy. Circulated value just a few bucks. Mint state value, hundreds. Gem full steps value, tens of thousands. And with the right coin, over $125,000 possible. All of that for a coin most people never look twice at. So the next time you see an old nickel, pause for a moment. Check the date, check the mint mark. Because history doesn't always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it hides in plain sight. On a coin that once jingled in a soldier's pocket in 1942, and today could pay for an entire year's salary. That's the story of the 1942 D Jefferson Nickel. Ordinary to most, but extraordinary to those who know what to look for.